It is Thursday, September 24th, 2020, and this is an update on the Three Gorges Dam and current events in China. We have 4 pieces of information to cover today, including an alleged new video taken at the Three Gorges Dam. Next, courtesy of the South China Morning Post, China's northeastern corn belt left flattened ahead of autumn harvest. Also, courtesy of agriculture.com, China to see bumper grain harvest on good growing conditions. We also have some new tweets. Let's hop into it. And a brief caveat before today's video. While researching for these reports, I come across information from various sources. Just because I decide to include a piece of information doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with it. I like to let you decide for yourself. Moving on. And the short video you see playing right now was allegedly taken at the Three Gorges Dam in the last 48 hours or so. Note the garbage behind the dam. And let's have a quick look at the status of the water level at the Three Gorges Dam before we get started. The current water level is 160.16 meters. The current inflow is not noted, and the current outflow sits at 26,900 cubic meters per second. It is worth noting that these numbers are released by the CCP. And as we can see, over the last 24 hours, the water level at the Three Gorges Reservoir has fallen from 160.46 meters down to 160.16 meters. And upstream at Kuntan, the water level is also down in the past 24 hours. It was 170.7 meters, and it currently sits at 169.9 meters. And this comes courtesy of the South China Morning Post. China's northeastern corn belt flattened ahead of autumn harvest. Farmer Chao Ji lets out a series of sighs as he surveys the damage to his corn crops in China's northeastern province of Heilongjiang after 3 typhoons slammed the region in the past month. With his farm located in Longjiang County, more than 800 kilometers or 497 miles from the coast, Chao says he never anticipated typhoons being a problem. But the abnormality, previously unheard of in China's main corn-growing region, looks to have a severe impact on output at a time when broader food security concerns are rising across the country due to drought, flooding, and crop infestations in recent months. Standing amid rows of corn uprooted by strong winds, Chao leans over to pick up a cob from a down stalk and points to the kernels, noting that they are too small for this late in the growing season. My output is expected to fall by half this year, he laments. Nevertheless, Chao considers himself lucky. The 13.3 hectares or 33 acres of cornfields he manages were partially protected by small nearby hills and rows of trees. Some of his neighboring farmers fared much worse. Many cornfields along the road from Yangfa village, where Chao lives, to the town of Yingxing suffered much heavier losses. In some cases, entire fields lie flattened. The local harvest season is supposed to start in about 2 weeks, and Chinese authorities are looking to alleviate concerns about the yield following the typhoons. On Wednesday, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Affairs Han Changfu said China should see a bumper grain harvest. However, a recent 3-day tour by the South China Morning Post of Heilongjiang, the largest corn-growing region in China, accounting for about 15% of the nation's total corn output, painted a much bleaker picture for the upcoming harvest. Swaths of flattened fields span hundreds of kilometers, visible by car and train. Losses are widespread, but the damage varies among different parcels of farmland. According to official data, China had bumper grain harvest for 16 consecutive years, up until 2019. But an earlier trip by the Post to Henan Province, a major producer of wheat, found that farmers there were hoarding summer output in anticipation of rising prices. For now, local governments have put on a brave face amid the corn situation. The Agriculture Department of Heilongjiang held a press conference on September 16th and attested that corn crops in the province were growing well with high yields expected, while playing down concerns of a bad harvest. But some analysts who have studied China's grain output data say official figures could be inflated by local officials, since it is a political mission for local officials to ensure adequate output. Like other local government data across China, grain output figures rely on input by local officials and are usually shielded from independent auditing. Thank you for watching this video. If you're finding it informative, please consider giving the channel a subscribe. And this comes courtesy of Reuters. China to see bumper grain harvest on good growing conditions. China should see a bumper grain harvest in the coming weeks because of good growing conditions and an increase in planted acreage, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Affairs Han Changfu said in a statement on Wednesday. The comments followed concerns that recent typhoons could reduce the corn output, which is already in tight supply. China's corn crop is expected to fall by up to 10 million tons, or nearly 4% from the latest government estimates, after the storms hit the northeastern Corn Belt, analysts said last week. Expected production losses have pushed Chinese corn futures to a record high and stoked worries over supply shortages in the world's second largest consumer of the grain. Han did not specify which crops he was referring to, but said the overall planted acreage of autumn grain had increased by 8% this year. Soybeans and rice are also harvested in autumn, in addition to corn. He noted that 3 consecutive typhoons in the center of China's northeast knocked over corn in some areas. However, given the maturity of the crop at the time, he said the fallen crops would have limited impact on output and mainly increase the difficulty and cost of harvesting. Corn in China was showing better than usual growth, he added. And our last piece of information is a series of interesting tweets. And I think that's a good place to wrap up today's video. I hope that you found it informative, and check back soon for more content.